In our Sunrise Smart Start, the jury has been selected for the trial of Keith Williams, underway at the Monroe County Courthouse.
Williams is accused of stabbing Rochester police officer Denny Wright in October of 2019, blinding him in the process. Alex Love live this morning outside the courthouse with what we can expect today. Alex, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mark. Prosecutors plan to unveil a lot of evidence, including the body cam footage, which shows the interaction Officer Wright had with Williams when this incident occurred on Peck Street. During all this, Officer Wright is expected to take the witness stand to testify for all this. Now, prosecutors warn the video on the body cam footage is graphic and disturbing, but they feel like the jury needs to see this because it presents their evidence in the best way, and Officer Wright is ready to testify to put this case behind him. They also acknowledge the defendant, Williams, does have a mental health illness, but he was deemed fit to stand trial back in 2020. Williams faces charges that include attempted murder. He rejected a plea deal which included a 25-year sentence. If convicted, he could face 40 years to life in prison.
You know, it's very powerful. It's, for someone, I've watched it numerous times over and over again. And for someone watching it for the first time, I think they're going, to be very disturbed. And that was one of the things that I kept asking the jurors. I wanted them to make sure that, not to like it, but to be able to watch it fully and fairly without distraction, because that is the main piece of evidence, and that's what they've got to focus on.
After this attack, Officer Wright had to spend 3 weeks in the hospital and undergo surgery. During this whole procedure, he's been surrounded by his family and a lot of colleagues helping him get through all this. Live in Rochester, Alex Love, News 8.
Alex, thank you. Wright has spent 23 years with the Rochester Police Department. Back in January of 2020, he told us he's doing exceptional every day, learning how to adjust in life.
The trial of an Irondequoit man accused of murdering a Brighton businessman continues today. Christopher Wernell was charged with second-degree murder in the death of 65-year-old Edward Boucher in May of 2021. Wernell allegedly struck Boucher in the head multiple times with a blunt object, leading to his death.
The Department of Veterans Affairs is set to give millions of dollars to suicide prevention programs across the nation. Marine and Fairport resident Joe Shenley is the National Executive Director for AMVETS in Washington, D.C. He and others were able to secure $52 million for community programs that aid veterans with suicide prevention.
We really believe this is the answer. We believe that this can really be what we need to make a real progress in the fight against suicide.
In the U.S., about 22 veterans each day are lost to suicide.
Roads are still closed in Rochester by the Chestnut and Elm Street intersection. This as cleanup continues around a vacant building, shedding debris. At least 19 commercial buildings still sit vacant downtown, and city officials want to make sure building owners are more responsible as they look to revitalize Rochester.
In the past, people were thinking, well, I own this building, I'll work on this building on my own schedule, I'll do something, if I do something, it's great, if I don't, well, as long as I pay my taxes, no one's going to bother me. What we're seeing now is really people understanding that there is a unified vision for downtown.
For more on this, you can head over to our website, rochesterfirst.com.
Monroe County Executive Adam Bello announcing an estimated $3 million to resurrect the Highland Park Pavilion. That pavilion sat at the highest point in the park near the water reservoir for 73 years. It was demolished back in 1963, officials citing deteriorating conditions at the time. Advocates have now raised over $1 million in the last 2 decades, and Bello says bringing the pavilion back is a good way to pay homage to the original designer of the park, Frederick Law Olmsted.
Rebuilding the Children's Pavilion honors Olmsted's genius and provides our community with a beautiful, accessible space for all to enjoy as they wander through the park and its trail systems.
This year is the anniversary of Olmsted's 200th birthday. Before its demolition, that area had been nicknamed Children's Pavilion.
Well, if you're headed to the park today, James, might just need a light jacket out there.
And sunglasses, certainly. As I said, we've got bright sun this morning. Temperature starting off generally around 30. A few spots along Lake Ontario, I've seen 35, 36. If you're further south, you may even be in the upper 20s. Dry roads for the morning bike ride. We have a decent afternoon. I like this mid to upper, we'll say mid 50s for this afternoon. A few spots maybe in the Finger Lakes could get to 57, 58 later today. No chance for any rain showers. We'll talk about the next chance and a glance at the weekend at the end of the show. Mark Kelly.
All right, James, thank you. Another check of the roads now with our sunrise traffic. And at this point, if you are getting ready to head out the door, pretty good timing. 390, 490, and 590, all up to speed, so it should be a fairly smooth commute. All right, the Biden administration is continuing to face pressure on how to respond to its plan to lift Title 42.
This week, the administration announced that part of their plan includes diverting resources from the Department of Veteran Affairs to the border. Anna Warnicki reports from Washington.
Good morning. The Biden administration is beginning to unveil the details of its plan to handle the surge of migrants expected once Title 42 ends. But how that plan is being funded has caused a lot of controversy.
They don't deserve it, and we won't stand for it.
Arkansas Senator John Bozeman says veterans should not bear the burden of President Biden's decision to lift Title 42 at the end of May.
This is going to be a crisis, but it's a Biden administration manufactured crisis.
Bozeman and Senate Republicans introduced a bill to block the Biden administration from diverting resources, including personnel, from the Department of Veterans Affairs to help handle the expected surge of migrants following the administration's decision to end Title 42.
This is absurd.
Tennessee Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn says the VA is already stretched thin.
You've got to wait even longer because we're going to send your medical supplies, your pharmaceuticals, your physicians, your nurses to the border.
But DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas told lawmakers the decision is ultimately up to the VA.
Who prioritizes the interests of veterans above all others for very noble and correct reasons.
If we implement DHS's plan, we're going to double or triple the number of people coming across the border.
And while Republicans continue to urge the administration to keep the policy in place, Democrats are pressing the president to keep his plan.
We expect him to follow through on his promise to end Title 42 provisions by May 23rd.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki responded to the criticism, saying VA support is a top priority for the president. For now, in Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki. Back to you.
Anna, thank you. And a federal judge temporarily blocked the Biden administration from ending Title 42 on Monday.
Well, the Food and Drug Administration announcing a plan to ban menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars. The agency says the move will help curb youth smoking and encourage people to quit the habit. As of 2019, there were more than 18.5 million menthol cigarette smokers ages 12 and older in the U.S., with higher rates of usage among black people and younger people. The FDA says modeling studies show a 15% reduction in smoking over 40 years if menthol cigarettes are not available, preventing hundreds of thousands of deaths.
In Washington, congressional Democrats proposing a plan this week to ease high gas costs for families by tackling price manipulation. A new bill would give the FTC and state attorneys general the power to penalize oil companies using unfair practices.
Oil companies last year made record profits. And what are the big oil companies doing? They're not improving production to lower costs. They're not paying their employees more. They're not reducing prices to help our country. Instead, they're helping their CEOs and their biggest wealthy shareholders. It's outrageous.
Some Republicans are resisting the bill, saying the Biden administration's energy policies are causing the high price of gas.
Well, the Genesee Brewery's Captain KOLSCH is swapping out his traditional garb for a Hawaiian shirt this spring. The brewery announcing the release of the new Tropical Pineapple KOLSCH this morning. That beer will be available across upstate New York throughout the summer. Should be a popular item at bars this summer. Here's what folks will be talking about at the old water cooler this morning. The NFL draft kicking off last night in Las Vegas, and the Bills drafting Florida cornerback Kaiir Elam in the first round last night. The Bills moved up from the 25th spot 2 spots to get him. That corner was a pressing need going into the draft, and the Bills have checked that box in round 1. The draft will continue tonight with rounds 2 and 3, and the Bills are slated, at least as of now, to make 2 more picks.
Really beefing up the defense. Von Miller earlier in the year, that's a big signing, and now they got a cornerback there as well.
Well, like I said earlier, right, that one more piece in the Super Bowl winning puzzle, James.
Let's hope.
That's right, man. The AFC getting tougher and tougher. Love to see some success there. Maybe we're getting outside and throwing the football after school. Should be a good day for it. Bus stop forecast near winter jacket worthy this morning. Temperature starting off in the 30s. We finish in the 50s today, upper 50s tomorrow. It's a beautiful Saturday. Sunday, let's not shake it off. We've got upper 60s and those rain showers likely later in the day. Monday looks pretty good as well, so a nice stretch over the next couple days. May is coming up. May on Sunday.
May is coming up, and a decent weekend there, James. Thank you. And thank you so much for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next. Have a great day.